old Stephen Stills song that says, if you can't be with the one you love, then honey, love the one you're with. Now listen, I am not here to endorse the free love spirit of the 1970s, but I do think that there's a lot of wisdom in those words when it comes to your home. So many people envy the homes of others, or they'll go to home shows and they'll dream about mansions that they will never own. My advice, if you can't be with the home you love, then love the home you're with. How profound is that? Recently, I asked my wife, what is something you wish that our home had that it doesn't? Her first response was a 3rd-car garage. Well, that's not happening in this house. Too small. But her next response was a dedicated workout room. My wife is super healthy. She lifts weights and works out every single day. But we didn't have a space set aside for that, and it got me thinking maybe this is possible. We had this awkward basement storage room. No windows, super low ceilings, weird little alcove under the stairs, and worst of all, a big HVAC box running right through the middle of the ceiling. Honestly, it was the ugliest room of the house. Just piles of junk, holiday decorations, and stuff waiting to go to the thrift store. But I love my wife more than anything in the world. And if she wants a workout room, then I'm gonna figure out how to get her one. So the first step was to clear the space. This was not easy. This room was packed with junk. But after several runs to the thrift store and building shelves in our garage, we finally got it all cleared out. Step 2 was to tackle the HVAC. The giant box in the middle of the room made this room almost unusable. Now, this channel is called DIY Derek, and I can do almost everything myself, but HVAC, plumbing, mudding and taping, sometimes drywall, that's where I call in help. So I hired a local HVAC company to come and to move the ductwork to the front of the room, right here. Instantly, it felt so much bigger and so much more usable. Step 3 is framing. This is actually one of my favorite parts. A lot of people are intimidated by framing, but I love working with wood and I love moving fast. And framing is where things can really start to take shape really quickly. I framed 2 new walls against the concrete, here and here. I built them on the floor and then tipped them up, secured them to the ceiling joists, and then shot them into the floor with my trusty ram set. And if you've never used one of those, it literally fires a nail into concrete using a .22 caliber shell. It's super fun, but always wear eye and ear protection because you're basically firing a gun inside your house. I also framed around the new HVAC with small furring strips to keep the ceiling as high as possible. Step 4 was electrical. The room only had one sad light bulb right in the middle, one of the the pull light bulbs. I ran new circuits, added outlets for a TV and equipment, and then wired in 4 recessed can lights. When I flipped those on for the first time, it completely transformed this space. I'm running, I'm working out, getting sweaty, and I wanted that to clear out. I wanted to install a vent and a fan like you'd have in a bathroom, but honestly the budget was getting stretched and I was getting impatient, so I skipped it. All right, step 5 is drywall. I hung all the drywall, walls and ceiling myself, except the back wall where I used plywood because I had plans for this. I knew I would be hanging with something really heavy, and then I called in my buddy Ricardo, my favorite drywall guy, to do the mud and tape, and he of course crushed it like he always does. Step 6 is the brick wall. And here is a funny story. About 5 years ago, I inherited 4 boxes of thin brick from a friend. I planned to use them in our bedroom fireplace, but they just looked way too rustic. They sat around for 2 years before I finally listed them and gave them away for free on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so fast forward a few years, I'm building this workout room, and I checked Facebook Marketplace to look for thin brick, and what do I find? The exact same 4 boxes from the same people that grabbed them for free from us, and they were listing them for free, so I grabbed them back, and I was finally able to put them to use. This was my first time installing thin brick, but it was pretty straightforward. Adhesive on the wall, bricks 1 by 1, keeping them level. When I needed cuts, I rented a wet saw from the Home Depot, and I had just barely enough brick to finish the whole wall. Then I grouted using grout bags, which are basically just giant frosting bags like my wife uses to frost a cake. It took hours, my forearms were on fire, but I love it. The wall looks awesome, it's moody, it's dark. Step 7 was flooring. I installed LVP flooring from Costco. I was having so much fun ripping out the carpet and installing this beautiful LVP flooring that I actually did the entire basement. I did my office, I did the sauna, and I did the rest of the basement. Step 8, the little Harry Potter room. This storage room has that weird under the stairs nook that every house has. I decided to turn it into a dedicated space for our water rower. I built an arched doorway and I finished the ceiling off with cedar shiplap that was left over from my sauna project. It's tiny, but it feels special. I wired 2 sconces, I set up the rower, and honestly, it might be my favorite part of the entire project. Finally, we brought in the equipment. Mirrors to make the room feel bigger, a low-profile TV that would stick as close to the wall as possible, free weights, a bench, treadmill, a rowing machine, yoga mat, pull-up bar, and a bench press setup. The transformation was complete. What used to be one of the ugliest rooms in our home is now one of the most used rooms. Between this workout room, the sauna next door, the cold plunge outside, we've built a morning routine that I couldn't live without. The whole project cost me just the HVAC work and hiring Ricardo for drywall. Everything else I did myself, and it was so worth it. People are spending far more time in their homes than ever in history. If we're gonna spend so much time at home, then we should truly love it. You should walk into every space and say, I love how I feel in this space. That's what this project did for us, and that's what I hope it inspires you to do as you look at your own home differently. Thank you for watching. If this gave you any ideas for your own space, please hit that like button, subscribe for more DIY transformations, and I'll see you on the next project.